Hello, welcome. I arrived yesterday and I enjoy in Berlin very much because my wife comes from Berlin, but she loves to live in Slovenia, so I'm connected with you. But the topic is not about my life, the topic is about boring meetings. Everybody was part of a boring meeting, every day, almost. Sometimes we are even producing boring meetings, sometimes we are part of it and unfortunately the victims. But that's life. It might sound a bit of a cliche, but we live in a time that demands every part of the supply chain to add value to the meetings. New thinking is directed towards participants and their needs. The new generation, the millennials, they are very great with technology. They don't believe in institutions and they have the confidence to change the world for better. And they are becoming a new target group also for meetings and incentives. So do we really know how to listen to their needs and do we know how they are, their habits? I think we are learning with them as well. So this leads us into creating the Slovenian methodology of event planning. With my colleague Gorazd and myself, we'll present you 2 case studies now.
Well, good afternoon also on my behalf. As Miha said, my name is Gorazd and we will try to explain a little bit more about what is this Slovenian methodology about. But I'm really happy that you use one of our principles already in this call, which is creative use of space. This is the philosophy which was born in Denmark. But as I can see these chairs here, you are playing with this creative setup too. But let me start with just a few words about my friend and colleague Miha. He's on a big screen now, and his background. If you went to one of the industry trade shows, MICE industry trade shows, Miha's face should be familiar to you because he's promoting hard Slovenia on those trade shows. We both share passion for meetings industry and wish to position Slovenia on a meetings industry map. I'm very proud on our cooperation at Conventa, where we proved that with passion and good idea, we can certainly move mountains. Miha's dream event, this is a top secret. He wants to bring car launch of electric car of top German company to Slovenia. This is his top event.
One day.
Okay?
But who is Gorazd, my colleague? We are connected professionally for more than 2 decades, and we have not played together in the kindergarten. So our largest project is Conventa, which we will present at a later stage. So we organized this event for 9 years, so next year is going to be the anniversary, the 10th. We still are brainstorming how to make it special. But Gorazd works on communication solutions in the meetings industry. As he said, we are both passionate about our job, so he has established himself as editor-in-chief of the Congress magazine. It's the leading MICE magazine of the region. And he's also an event organizer, as he said before. Gorazd's dream event is a bit different than mine, so he wishes to carry out a Red Bull air race. Quite boring for me, but somehow he's like this kind of crazy guy. So, that's our brand. So the Slovenian meetings industry is united under the Slovenian Convention Bureau or the brand Slovenia Meetings. We use the energy drink. Why? Because we believe the Slovenian energy is the USP that we bring on the table when we beat or when we host or organize events. So the Bureau connects and promotes over 50 meeting professionals active in Slovenia. The Bureau is only 11 years old on the market, and Slovenia has grown immensely as a MICE destination since then. We say we have courage. I think in our business you need to have courage. Even sometimes you don't see the end, you just have to go through. So that we have successfully positioned Slovenia on the European meetings map. Many people still don't know Slovenia, so we still have way to go. But whomever we win, he's on our side. They become our ambassadors. So Slovenian MICE product is one of the prime products of Slovenian tourism, and it is spread throughout the country, a big advantage as well. So, and what is also important for our business is more and more it is acknowledged that MICE participants are the best spending guests or tourists. And as we know, where the money goes, the business goes.
Yeah, we believe in this proverb, only as good as your last event, and we deliver a lot of good events in Slovenia. But let me tell you a little bit about Slovenia, why it's so interesting for you too. As event and meetings destination, Slovenia is perfect for small and medium-sized meetings for up to 1,500 participants. We are especially good for boutique events, boutique type of events, and we can organize that on the highest level. What is also important is that the MICE industry in such a small country is well developed, including very strong creative industry. I used to say that we are part of the Slovenian creative industry, not just part of tourism and so on. Such a complete industry is hard to find even in much more developed destinations. So we can say we have high quality venues, sustainable infrastructure, beautiful nature, and first-class culinary, which is quite important for meeting participants too. We work hard and believe Slovenia is a reference country also for other regional destinations as a knowledge hub with everything what we are doing.
So the Slovenian way to organize great events. We believe events want excited participants, not only satisfied delegates. The power of events lies in the active co-creation and the connection between the author's idea and the participant. It's not always possible, but you have to believe it. That creative moment when the participant and the creator ignite a spark between them is hard to achieve and requires careful planning. Our methods are based on several years of experience, inspired by Danish methodology, Mytovation, as Gorazd already mentioned. So in order to develop a positive participant experience, we have to follow several logical steps. These steps require certain rules, which have to be learned and properly integrated in the meeting process. The special feeling you get when there is a personal contact between speaker and the participants can be replaced by virtual solutions. Great events make you feel alive and completely indulged in the story.
So, what makes a successful event? By the way, this lady is a real lady from one of our events. All the pictures you see are from our events, not from Shutterstock. So, we are doing this every day, so we can show a lot of pictures from our events, and we are proud on that. So, as Micha said, the power of personal contact between participants and with organizers is in the core of our thinking. You can call this live experience, human-to-human marketing, experience marketing, just name it. There are many names for what we are doing. When you realize that behind the scenes of our events is entire machinery of technicians, creative people, caterers, and other professionals, you realize that organization of event is like a theater in a way, or even like a classical Greek drama with opening and catharsis, happy participants at the end of the show. Good organizers want his event to be successful as possible and to leave legacy or impact on participants. So when you see happy faces at the end of the show and hear big applause, you know you did it. And we will present some of our cases, successful cases later on today. And what is power to the meetings? Well, we started 10 years ago with Conventa. We said, okay, we will organize a trade show which is out of the box, which will focus on this personal contact, as I mentioned before. And for Conventa, our most demanding project, we developed our own methodology, and we have now 10 steps with all the tools necessary to be successful, which we've been, as I said before, which we have been applying for the last decade. The model proved to be very successful as it helps to understand the needs of participants and stakeholders. This is quite important too, but we always put participants on the first place. And in next minutes, we will give you some recipes and tools which will definitely power your next meeting. This is a kind of combination of different tools and ideas available on the market, but we have know-how how to make it successful. First recipe, Gemütlichkeit in Germany, or the Mache. This is a little bit strange to you, I think so. But, you know, it's about storytelling. We used to say that we don't create events, we tell stories. This is the statement I truly believe in. Stories have always brought people together and inspired them. They were told in a pleasant and warm environment, usually by the fireplace. I hope that you agree with that. And usually we are forced to organize events in quite cold, unfriendly spaces and places. So the first recipe is learning how to incorporate those stories and tie them with basic content idea of the event. The Slovenian way of organizing event is based on making great stories and make guests feel like at home by the fireplace. Content is nowadays a buzzword. We can talk for hours about content because I'm really dealing a lot with content marketing. But of course, it's logical. Digital beast is hungry for good content, and we should play around. Otherwise, our events will not be successful. But first of all, think about this warm environment. People want to hear your story in a nice, friendly, warm environment. This is our first recipe. The next one is casual. We used to say that casual is a key nowadays, especially for millennials. They don't want to come in ties anymore to events. They really don't care, actually. So what we mean with this step, with participant journey? Careful planning means you take care of your participants in the best possible way, inside your budget, organizational, and other limitations you have. It means you adjust the program to the needs of participants. In this sense, I believe less is definitely more. In this phase, concept of user experience is created. This is really, really important. We use storyboard canvas, which includes customer persona definition, goals matchmaking, and storyboard creation in this phase. Step by step, we guide participants through all of the experiences, including communication experiences. The storyboard is then tested on a small group of potential participants. Case studies have shown that Slovenian participants, as well as European, feel the best in a casual and relaxed environment.
Seeing is believing. Having a good brand amplifies your event idea. Branding is, I think, today more important than ever, and it's going to be on even more. So it's a tool for constructing visibility for the event by using the name, image, or symbols, or all of them together. It proposes a fingerprint of the desired identity. It also represents an important part of event development and relationship with participants also after the event, because you all want that people go home and don't forget you so quickly. So the result of a carefully planned branding is the reputation as a clear measurement for brand image of the event. So the next, Goras.
I just want to add something, Micha, if you agree.
Please.
Conventa, you know when your brand is really successful when there is a lot of copies of your event. We started with Conventa 10 years ago, and now it's quite a lot. There are quite a lot of copies of Conventa. So obviously it was a good brand. Even one trade show in Baltic states has its name Convin, which is close to what we have. So yeah, this is quite good if they copy you at the end of the day.
Or in Croatia, one PCO called himself Conventa Pro. Quite funny, but it's good. We are atmosphere. You see, this is a classical meeting hall in a classical business hotel. It doesn't look like this. It's the Hotel Lev of the Union Group in Ljubljana. So they really quickly understood after being at EMEC in Copenhagen that you need to change the business model if you want not just to survive but to be better. And they invested together with Toleranza team and changed a classical meeting hall into a very innovative. I think Nusha is with us. Nusha, would you add something? But a question for you, Nusha. Before it was a classical meeting hall. With this new setup, can you sell more now?
That's why I just wanted to say that when showing the video of the event, something that sells.
So you don't have competitors in Ljubljana, I assume? Fantastic. Yeah. And that's just one of the steps of the 10. So, as you say, classical meeting halls are the first obstacle when creating a pleasant meeting environment. In this room, you see they already did, and it's people, we all don't want all to be treated the same way, and the setups enables that very easily, and it's not really involved with costs. I remember Hugo, he's also with us, presented how they did one event for one company for ananas, right? The dough. So you changed the meeting room completely, and it was wow effect, and this wow lasted for duration of the event. So your event space needs to impress at first sight, but of course also with quality, not just visually. And we say always keep the atmosphere of your favorite living room in your mind and try to somehow replicate it and enable that participants experience that.
The next recipe is about harmony and music in your events. There are quite many musicians in our business. Do you know that? They're really good in putting things together because they are precise. They know a lot about tones, about the basic structure of every song, and they're good in planning, in meetings. And music is a universal language, as so are events. Music is, in my opinion, also an basic part of any event, as it sets tone and creates harmony. According to our survey, there is a lot of musicians in our industry, as I said before. To music, we react spontaneously. There is a lot of meetings out of the rhythm, so-called boring meetings, and make us feel uncomfortable because of that. The fact is that our attention swings in a rhythmical swing. So segments of our events needs to be tied together with a music. If we don't plan this in advance, a whole project can fall apart. Creating a good rhythm at your event is, in my opinion, a key. For that, we use program Canvas. We use a lot of Canvas techniques in our company to tell or to educate our clients, about all these 10 steps we will present to you. The next one is equality. For this one, for example, we use experiential Canvas. Participants' engagement can be done in many ways, but the best results occur when you do something by yourself. Nowadays, and especially for millennials, you need to create hand zones and other touch points where participants can touch and experience the product. But again, before we get into it, we need to know the needs of participants. This part of event requires careful planning and use of different presentation techniques available nowadays. You can even find out and do something out of the box by yourselves. Here, usually technology plays a vital role, and in practice, we use a lot of tools from Slido to Mesh Machine, from Catchbox you have here, to many other things. But please have in mind, you need to activate your participants. This is really important.
Happy Together sounds interesting title. But speaker job is not only the transfer of knowledge and experiences. As organizers, we have to make sure the speakers are properly briefed and well prepared, really well prepared, not just doing their job. They also need to know very exactly whom they speak to, why, and even deeper. It is important for the speakers also to include interaction with the participants. Otherwise, after 5-10 minutes, you disconnect. Depending on the type of the event, we advise also the use of short sessions, such as Pecha Kucha or TEDx. Are you familiar with this? Yeah, fantastic. And then the second thing is the role of a master of ceremony. Plays a crucial role. Why? Because his job is to keep energy in the room among participants and to smoothly connect between all different program segments. Many times MC either stands too much on the stage or in front, or is just on the side. We think it's quite crucial. So this person needs to study the speakers, talk to them before, so they know him, so they trust him, so he understands, this kind of personality is like this, so he introduces him either on a video or audio or a combination. And this leaves a much deeper connection with the audience. Rest? Authenticity. Cultural heritage is as inspiration, we say. We are genuine also, all that is authentic. We all love to look and create unique experiences that are nothing else than authentic and slightly spiced up with nostalgic stories. That's the experience of the destination where you go. You always want to take something of the local or the destination experience home. So authentic cuisine, music, culture, special historic sites are one of the core elements of every successful event. either incentive or classical large congresses. Goras, you just returned from Granada, so you have taken home something of Spain.
Definitely. But you know, sometimes destination is too authentic and the content is then not in a first place.
Okay.
So it was definitely a great conference. But you know, when you have such a great destination as Granada, then people sometimes escape from the room, you know, even before lunch. So
That's
it
not
could be dangerous, in my opinion. Yeah.
So participants like to return back to nature, we say, get to know the authentic way of life of the destination.
The next one is really in line with what Slovenia is doing here in Berlin or for the last 10 years. It's about green events and green meetings. This is nothing new. Actually, you are practicing this in Germany for quite a long time too. But I believe that green is not enough anymore. Our agency is the author of the first recommendations and checklist for green events in Slovenia. Around 10 years ago, we developed this for Slovenian Convention Bureau and are still used these standards as standards for the Slovenian Convention Bureau. We push and urge clients and ourselves to plan, act and evaluate sustainable measures every day at all our projects. Sustainability is not a buzzword anymore, but our lifestyle, I think so, especially in Slovenia, as we learned today. And guests expect green services intelligently delivered. This means that we have to make participants' journey, I told you about that before, as sustainable as possible, whilst maintaining the high-quality standards they expect from us. Here we have a conflict of interest sometimes, but basically we can manage it. The last thing from this list, but not least, is about ROI. More value for participants as it is there. Event is a marketing and sales investment. As with any investment, one should expect a return on investment. Every year, exhibitors at Conventa ask me when we will be able to calculate their own ROI. And then I ask them back about selecting the right target audience. This is the first step they need to do. When you are doing your event, first of all, you need to select the right audience. And then the second really, really important thing is to setting clear objectives about your event, what you are doing. Despite the fact that there are a number of tools and techniques, it all starts with the method of evaluation and your decision about which effects are most important to you. And we used to say what can't be measured can't be managed. This is really, really important in my opinion. And this is our secret ingredient. It's up to you, of course. If you are a jazz lover, you will not use this rock and roll spice or ingredient. But you know, in certain point of life, you create your own lifestyle. If you like rock and roll, then you know, you will put this rock and roll stuff into all your projects. And that's what we are doing. But it's not just about that. I even have a presentation about rock and roll and meetings industry because I believe there is a big, big connection between these two fields, if I can say that. I used to say, and I will read this now to you, that in many ways, meetings industry is similar to rock and roll. To show all that you got with a heart and a strong voice, to inspire the audience and leave impression. This is what I believe in. Above all, to create good rock and roll energy, we have to check the three basic elements. First of all is the element of surprise. Good rock and roll band is always about surprise, about shock sometimes even. This is first impression. Second element is creative communication with your fans. If you don't know how to creatively communicate with your fans, with everything what is nowadays available, from social media to some old-fashioned stuff, before, during, and after event, then you are in trouble. And the last one is scene, which is closely connected to rock and roll and to stage and so on. So you need to play around stage, light, and for true rockers, also with some great guitar riffs. Without guitar, there is no rock and roll. In other words, each event must have its own color and sound.
I will teach you Slovenian now. Are you ready? I have some Slovenian colleagues here, so it won't be that difficult. Let's try to read this pink word together. Sreča. Can you repeat? Wow. Nusha, I could hear you. Okay, sreča means luck in Slovene. But also srečanje means meeting in Slovenia. So Slovenian language has this peculiarity that the word for meeting includes the word sreća, that means happiness. In the figurative sense of the word, our meetings bring happiness to our participants. Through our methodology, which you have seen, the first part of the story, we try to realize this wordplay in every step of our way. The whole point of meetings is, of course, make participants happy. Happy in a, of course, deeper way, not just, oh, that was a great fun, so it must be a bit more.
So, at the end, when we did our homework and put everything together with these tools we just mentioned, we are talking about that we are in a stage where we can create 6 dimensions of power to the meetings. In the following few slides, Micha and me will show you 2 real cases of creating meetings by the power of to the meetings system. The first one is Conventa, and the second one will be Conventa crossover. Our wish is basically to create a kind of holistic experience which would be remembered by our participants and would bring out positive feelings, which we and create so-called happenings and create happy participants. So Micha, explain a little bit more about.
So the first one is, we go through the 6 senses, very easy to remember. So the first one would be the taste. It's undoubtedly one of the ways in which we can feel love. You know, Slovenia, love, it's everything connected. So it's not unusual that there is an old saying, the way to the heart is through the stomach. I don't know how it's in Germany, but in Slovenia it's like this. So this of course doesn't just mean that you fall in love with someone because she or he might be a good cook, but it means that with our taste buds, we can taste someone who has prepared a dish with genuine love and care. And by the way, do you know that Slovenian chef Anna Roš is world's best female chef 2017? So another reason to come to Slovenia. And she's even an attractive woman. Luckily, I know her. The second one is the sound, of course, with the rock. But if you prefer jazz or piano, why not? So music stimulates passion, affection, devotion, reassurance, and warmth. To hear something, you can remain passive, but to listen, you have to be active. Quite a difference between listen and... We hear a lot, but listen not always. Huh? So sound is important because of its link with memory. We play a music and everybody connects with his own world. So music stimulates and awakens memories of the past and of course also give us or show us the future. The next one is the smell. By the way, this is the former director of Carinthia Convention Bureau. She's at Conventa. And she was so promoting our story that she became Conventa ambassador. Because Conventa every year awards one person who make the best contribution. Could be Slovenian, not necessarily. So even if you close your eyes and cover your ears, you'll always smell the air as you breathe. You explore the smell all around you with every breath you take. So the Conventa scent is one of new experiences, as well as the scent of nostalgia, and we all know how coffee is important in our business, so we always have a smell of freshly roasted coffee. And of course, we also serve coffee, not just give the smell. So the next one would be touch. The participants always have to do some activities. They were learning how to cook Slovenian dishes. Some are really simple, like štrukli. Do you know that we have 250 recipes just for one dish? You can eat it as an appetizer, as a main dish, as a side dish, or as a dessert. Štrukli, very healthy. So you can Google it, you will see. So we say try before you buy. That's the part of the philosophy of Conventa. So try the destination before you even consider approaching it. And we believe in the personal experience of the destination and what participants or delegates want to do in the whole region, of course. The site, these are stunning costumes made in Slovenia by Serpentes. This year they enlightened the experience. Sometimes we put them in the caves and people are thinking, wow, what is this kind of a monster? But actually it's not a monster, it's quite an attractive person. So sight is the most important of the human senses, which often dominates other senses. sometimes we believe too much what we see. Huh? So the first contact with Conventa is through its brand. We push the brand, and in the 9 years of the show, it has become a reputable, trustworthy brand, well known by meeting professionals. So that's quite important, because behind, as we said before, behind the brand, you give a promise. So you better deliver that promise, otherwise people will forget you very quickly.
Maybe just one more thing. This is quite important nowadays also to boost social media. Even at really serious conferences now, we put a lot of such surprises to different areas of events, and you can really boost your social media through that. So, but don't again put too many of those things, because people will again escape from the hall and they will not attend the presentation they should attend.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's difficult to find the right mix between social engagement and that people stay with their minds in the room. So Phil, like the sixth one, that's the dragon of Ljubljana, that's the symbol of Ljubljana. I saw him here as well, quite funny.
Yep.
I don't know how he could come all the way. So exhibition equipment, decoration, furniture, lighting, various elements of the setup make the atmosphere, like we say at Conventa. So the cherry of the top is the great hospitality that fills the air and that can warm up even the coldest of the meetings industry players' hearts. That's how we believe that hospitality. We are a Slavic nation, and for us, hospitality, it's, if you come to our house, we offer you to eat, and if you don't eat everything, we feel, oh, you don't like me. And we, of course, we exaggerate. That's why, so that's how we are.
So as Micha just said, the best things are free, and there is a lot of colleagues of mine, you know, working in the event industry, putting a lot of money to stage technology and so on, but you don't need a ton of technical equipment, lights and multimedia effects to create a really great event and a great experience for the participants. Elements presented on our practice case of Conventa crossover are simple and cheap, but carried out with lots of heart and creative mindset. And this is already from the Conventa crossover. This was our spin-off or experiment or pilot project together with Union Hotels in Ljubljana, and it was a great success, and we will do it again this year. As Micha said at the beginning, it was based on innovation philosophy from Denmark, but we include a lot more, because we believe that we need to put also, as I said before, rock and roll inside, and Slovenian hospitality and many other things. So basically, for example, we create a marketing ring, which was a real ring from the Slovenian boxing champion Dejan Zavec. For example, in this picture you will see your colleague, Zolja Dams from Vogue Dams Agency, and there was a fight between him and Jens Meyer from what was the name of the?
Jack Morton.
From Jack Morton, yeah, you know. And it was quite successful, but again, with a great moderator, you can create also a nice reaction of the audience. It was in TEDx format, so we used different formats to engage participants. The next one was content bar. It was a real bar, actually, and they are still using it in Hotel Leo. Content bar was a place for the best practical ideas and tips for marketing in the meetings industry. We created a special place with bar atmosphere, as I said before, and all presentations here were in Pecha Kucha format. You know what is Pecha Kucha? 20 slides, 20 seconds, 6 minutes. So it's really fast, and if you know what to tell, then it's enough. Otherwise, it could be a big problem. It was quite funny, and we will repeat this idea again this year. The next story was elevator pitches corner. So it was something like that. I saw something like that yesterday in Grenada, where they also create on the main stage elevator pitches session. And it's again quite interesting. We invited people from through the Facebook to pitch, and then the best ones we invited to the stage, and we vote live actually with Slido technology who is the best, and it was super interesting. And we will again repeat this session this year, but we will even upgrade this whole experience, because we will have a moderator who will teach all the people how to really pitch for their projects.
Can I just add, Gora, something?
Yeah.
I think in this kind of events, you see colleagues learn from colleagues. Usually in this stage, we just bring you the knowledge from here to there, but you can learn among each other as well. And this kind of presentations enable you of networking and cross exchange of knowledge and ideas. not just during the coffee break when discussion actually starts. It should start in the room, not in the coffee break area. Please, Chris.
And the next innovation was Chit Chat Coffee Bar, where we create a space where people can really sit in a relaxed atmosphere and have speed dating. And we use, of course, our system for one-to-one meetings. Well, that brings us to the end of our presentation, but Micha will conclude what we would like to share with you.
So you got 2 recipes of, we say, Conventa and Conventa crossover, the conference, based on the knowledge that we gathered in the last 20 years with the motivation as inspiration. And so the question is now for you, how will you power your meetings or events or incentives? It's just up to you. So I hope you had an interesting presentation. Thank you for your attention from myself and Gorazd, and see you in Slovenia, hopefully.
Okay.
Vielen Dank nochmal.
Thank you very much. Give them a good round of applause. Micha Kovacic and Gorazd Chat. Mr. Kovacic, you mentioned that you are the CEO of the Slovenian Convention Bureau. Can you give us some information about your job? What is your job all about as a CEO of that convention bureau? We are a small country, but we don't think small. We have 2 million inhabitants, but over the years we found out that we have a lot to offer for our field. So 10 years ago, we marketed the country as a professional destination for meetings and events. Although we have a small territory, we saw that we have a lot to offer, and we're very close to the markets, and we have our own identity, and use that. So I'm not really sure what to call passion in German, says the speaker. Passion, Leidenschaft, is the German term. And the passion that we felt was that, not me personally or Gorazd, we are not the only ones who believe in it, and we work hard on it. And Slovenia is now running a newer strategy, like we always do every 5 years. And so we have created an incentive product, and with this we reached the ranking as the first in the different surveys, because we have Ljubljana as the city, and the 30 minutes takes you to the Alps, and 30 minutes takes you in the Karst Mountains region, and another 30 minutes will take you to the Mediterranean Sea. And we will find all of that in Slovenia. We're not a big destination. We can't afford mass tourism, so boutique tourism is what we go for. And what Gorazd said, we tell stories. And this is incentive business is exactly all about that, and we'll continue with this. Thank you very much.